Story number 1. The Vent Speaks. There's something unsettling about being home alone. The silence isn't comforting. It's heavy, pressing in from all sides, making every creak and whisper of the house feel unnatural. You tell yourself it's just your imagination, just the pipes, just the wind. That's what I told myself too. But I was wrong. Because someone was there, hiding, watching, waiting, and by the time I realized it, it was almost too late. I always hated staying home alone, not because I was scared of the dark or of creaking floors. Those things never bothered me, but because our house never really felt empty, even when I was the only one in it. That night, my parents had gone out for their anniversary dinner. I watched as they drove down the street, leaving me with pizza and Netflix. I had the whole house to myself, or so I thought. Halfway through my movie, I heard something, a soft, rhythmic tapping. At first, I thought it was the branches outside scraping against the siding, but then I realized it was coming from inside the house. I muted the TV, heart pounding. Silence. Maybe I had imagined it. Then, a quiet shuffle. I turned toward the noise. The air vent on the far wall, just above the floor, looked normal, but I knew I hadn't imagined it. Something moved in there. I grabbed my flashlight, shining it through the vent. Nothing. Just dust and darkness. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. I texted my mom. "Something's not right, Mom." She texted back, almost immediately. "You're fine, sweetie. It's just the house creaking." I tried to ignore the gnawing feeling in my gut and went back to my movie, but the tapping came again. Louder, faster. Then, a sound that made my blood run cold. A whisper, faint, almost playful.
"I see you."
I froze. My body refused to move, every instinct screaming at me to run, but I couldn't. My eyes locked onto the vent, heart hammering against my ribs. Then, slowly, the vent cover shifted. I barely gained the courage to lunge forward and yank the cover off. I expected to see a raccoon, maybe a stray cat, but all I saw was darkness. A long, narrow shaft leading into the walls. I stared into the black void, breath shaky, and then, just for a second, something moved. A pale hand, sliding back, deeper into the vent. I ran. I bolted out of the house, phone in hand, dialing 911 before I even hit the sidewalk. The cops arrived within minutes. A feeling of relief waved over me when the officer told me that he would search the house, because I didn't want to go back in alone. They searched the house, checked the vents. They were empty. The attic. It was also empty. The crawl spaces. But there was no one. It was like they just vanished. But when they pulled me aside, one officer asked a question that still haunts me. "Are you sure you were home alone all night?" Because in the attic, they found a small pile of food wrappers, a stained blanket, and a single, rusted knife. Someone had been living in my house, and they were never caught. Story number 2. Unwanted Guest. I used to love storms, until the night one brought something inside. The lights flickered as thunder shook the house. Then, beneath the wind and rain, I heard it. The front door creaking open. A chill crawled down my spine. Footsteps, slow and deliberate, echoed in the dark. I wasn't alone anymore, and whoever had just entered, they weren't supposed to be here. I wasn't the type to get scared easily. When my parents left for the weekend, I actually looked forward to having the house to myself. Of course, I loved my parents, but I was free to do as I pleased. And what teenager doesn't want that? No nagging, no interruptions, just me, my games, and the freedom to do whatever I wanted. The storm outside didn't bother me at first. I had my headset on, immersed in a game. Some new battle royale that just came out. I was just about to get my first win when the light suddenly flickered. Then darkness. I sighed, pulling off my headset. The house was silent, except for the wind slamming against the windows. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. Just a power outage, no big deal. But then I noticed something strange. The basement door was open. I was pretty sure it had been shut all day. I walked over, peering down the dark staircase. Cold air drifted up from below, carrying that damp, musty basement smell. I didn't want to go down there, but I needed to check the breaker. Each step creaked beneath my weight as I descended. My breath came out in short, uneven puffs. The weak glow from my phone barely cut through the darkness, but it was enough to see. I reached the breaker, flipped the switch, nothing. Then I heard it, a soft rustling behind me. I turned my flashlight in every direction, nothing but old furniture and storage boxes. My brain told me it was just the wind, or a mouse or something, but my gut said otherwise. I hurried back up the stairs and slammed the door shut, locking it for good measure. Then my phone vibrated, a message from an unknown number. Why did you lock the basement door? My chest tightened, my fingers felt stiff as I reread the message. No way, this had to be a prank. Soon after that, the banging at the front door started. I didn't know who it could be or why, but they wanted it, in bad. I swallowed hard and approached, pressing my eye to the peephole. Nothing, just rain and darkness. Another vibration from my phone. I saw you looking. I spun around, heart pounding. The house was still, too still. Then I heard it, a creak from the hallway. The basement door was open again, and so was the closet next to it. I wasn't alone. I shined my flashlight into the slightly cracked closet door, and to my surprise, a man's face peered from behind the door. He was bald, soaking wet, and had an evil grin. The water puddled on the floor beneath him. Suddenly my body moved on its own. I wasn't going to stick around to see what his intentions were. But he didn't chase me. He just watched me run. I ran to my room. My lungs burned, and my heart pounded so fast it hurt. But I was safe. I slammed my door and called the cops with trembling hands.
911,
Each second,
what's your emergency?
waiting felt like an eternity.
I'll see misdemeanor site.
10-4, John 12.
The police caught the suspect a few houses over, hiding in some bushes. It turns out he was an escaped convict, and the police were already in the area looking for him. He was looking for a dry place to hide and get out of the rain. And he just so happened to choose my house. When my parents arrived, my mom was crying hysterically, and my dad didn't say much at all. The officer went on to say how brave I was, but in the end, I was more so upset that I didn't win my game.
Bruh.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to Sterling Short Stories on YouTube, but only if you dare.